Hello everyone, and welcome back to another wilderness survival adventure. Today, we are heading deep into the forest for a completely new challenge. Building a hanging clay shelter using only primitive survival skills and natural materials found in the wild. No electricity, no machines, no modern tools, just nature, our hands, and the instinct to survive. Right now, I'm standing in the middle of a remote forest surrounded by towering ancient trees. Birds echo through the woods while the ground is still damp from last night's rain. The air is cold and filled with mist, giving this place a peaceful yet mysterious atmosphere. But hidden within this wilderness are many dangers. Wild animals, unpredictable weather, and the darkness of the forest night. In today's video, our goal is to build a unique hanging clay shelter elevated above the ground to avoid moisture, insects, and increase safety from wild predators. This type of shelter is inspired by ancient survival techniques once used by primitive humans to survive harsh natural environments. The first step is finding the perfect location to begin construction. In survival situations, building quickly is never as important as choosing the right place to stay alive through the night. A good location must have stable terrain, access to water, and strong trees capable of supporting the weight of the hanging structure. I begin walking deeper into the forest, carefully observing the terrain and searching for signs of wildlife. Broken branches, claw marks on tree trunks, and footprints in the soft soil can all reveal whether dangerous animals roam this area. In real wilderness survival, caution is always more important than speed. After nearly an hour of searching, I finally discover a promising location between three massive trees growing close together on a hillside. The ground here is firm, protected from strong winds, and located near a small freshwater stream. This will become the site of our secret hanging clay shelter. Before construction begins, the first task is clearing the area. Using a small survival axe, I cut away thick bushes, remove dead branches, and create enough open space to work safely. The sound of the axe echoes through the quiet forest, making the entire experience feel like stepping back into prehistoric times. Once the construction site is prepared, I start gathering natural materials. Straight wooden poles will become the main frame of the shelter, while forest vines will serve as natural ropes to tie the structure together. Everything used for this build comes directly from the wilderness around us. Next comes one of the most important tasks, finding clay. I follow the nearby stream and begin digging beneath the wet mud along the riverbank. After several shovels of soil, a thick layer of reddish clay appears. This natural material will help waterproof the shelter and retain warmth during the cold night. The clay is collected into large piles and mixed with dry grass and leaves to improve its strength and flexibility. This ancient building technique was used by primitive civilizations for thousands of years. Even though it looks simple, properly prepared clay can become incredibly durable once it dries. As the sun climbs higher, the forest becomes hotter and more humid. Sweat pours down constantly, but the real work is only beginning. I begin constructing the hanging floor platform by securing thick wooden beams between the three large trees. Every vine knot must be tightened carefully to ensure the structure can safely support the shelter's weight. Building a hanging shelter is far more difficult than creating a ground shelter. One weak connection or unstable beam could cause the entire structure to collapse. Because of that, every joint and support must be checked again and again before moving forward. After many exhausting hours of work, the hanging platform is finally complete. I carefully climb onto it to test its strength. The structure sways slightly with the wind, but remains stable enough to continue building. This platform will serve as the foundation for our elevated survival sheltered deep in the wilderness. I add an extra layer of large leaves over the clay surface to help rainwater slide off more effectively. While working, strange noises occasionally echo from the dense bushes nearby. It could be wild boars or another animal moving through the forest. Moments like this remind me how important it is to complete the shelter before darkness completely takes over. The final sunlight of the day shines through the tall trees, reflecting beautifully against the wet clay walls. After hours of non-stop labor, the hanging clay shelter finally stands complete in the middle of the wilderness. It looks like a hidden, primitive fortress concealed deep within the forest. But surviving the night requires more than just shelter. I continue by crafting a rope ladder from vines and bamboo, so I can climb safely into the elevated shelter. Beneath it, I build a small campfire area to provide warmth and keep predators away. I also gather additional firewood because temperatures in the forest can drop dramatically after midnight. As darkness slowly covers the wilderness, the forest becomes silent except for the sound of insects and the crackling fire below the shelter. The flames reflect against the clay walls while cold wind moves through the trees, creating an atmosphere that feels both peaceful and dangerous at the same time. After a full day of hard work in the wild, I finally sit beside the fire and look at the finished shelter. A completely handmade hanging clay shelter built entirely with primitive survival skills in the heart of the forest. Tonight, we will sleep inside this elevated clay shelter to test whether it can truly protect us from rain, cold weather, and the dangers hidden within the wilderness. Will this primitive shelter survive the storm and keep us safe through the night? If you enjoy primitive survival videos, secret shelter builds, and wilderness adventures, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future survival journeys. And now, let the wilderness adventure begin.